The NBA draft is coming up in roughly a couple of months, and there's a lot of great prospects. There's a lot of fan favorites, and most people are talking about Cade Cunningham, Jalen Suggs, Evan Mobley, Jalen Green, and Jonathan Kuminga. I would say those 5 players I just listed are the most talked about prospects at the moment. NBA draft analysts are also really high on Sharife Cooper, who went to Auburn, and the other 2 guards who went to Tennessee. I could go on and on. Moses Moody from Arkansas is a good guard. The 2 guards from Baylor are really good, and Corey Kispert for Gonzaga. I'm gonna stop right there though, because you get the point. Many players are getting recognition, and it's rightfully so. Do not get me wrong. All these players I named and some of the other players in this draft deserve every bit of attention and hype they get. But however, with all that being said, there is one player that nobody is talking about, and he is rising up the draft boards. There's even a good chance that he could be a lottery pick, and what's crazy about this is that nobody, and I mean nobody, is talking about him. It's really mind-boggling too, because it doesn't make any sense. We're going to talk all about it and dive deep into detail of who this guy is and why he's so good. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Oh yeah guys, real quick, I have a huge announcement. After this video is uploaded, tonight I will be live streaming hitting 100,000 subscribers. We're not getting off the stream until we hit it. I just wanted to let you know in this video so you do not miss out. So make sure you turn notifications on so you'll get updated. I plan on going live around 9 or 10 p.m. Central Time. There's not too much more to say. It's going to be a great and awesome moment, so I hope to see you there. Thank you guys for all the support. It really means a lot to me. Now without further ado, let's get into it. If I told you there was a sophomore at the college level who was averaging roughly 16 points per game, 5 rebounds and 4 assists, you would probably think all eyes were on that player. But no, all eyes aren't on that player. And I know what you're thinking. Well, his stats may not be that good and he may not be that efficient. And if you would think that, you would also be wrong, because he shoots over 40% from the 3-point line and shot 46% from the field. For a point guard at the college level, it doesn't get too much more efficient than that. And the player we're going to talk about in this video that is climbing up the draft boards extremely fast is no other than Trey Mann. Trey Mann was the star point guard for Florida last year, and he's coming in at 6'5" and almost 200 pounds. That's what ESPN has him listed at, 6'5". I think he's only 6'4", but hey, we'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Regardless, 6'4", 6'3", or 6'5", it's really good size for a point guard. Let me tell you something. When I say he exploded onto the scene last year in the second half of the season, I mean it. Going into his second year at Florida, he wasn't even expected to get drafted or enter the draft. He was projected to go undrafted, and some people were saying he was going to be a 4-year player in college and never get drafted. I know what you're thinking. Yo Matt, why were they saying that? Well, it's because he had a terrible freshman season. Going into Florida, Trey was a McDonald's All-American, 4-star recruit, and ranked in the top 40 of ESPN. The season he had his sophomore year is what people expected him to do his freshman year. In the modern day of college basketball, a lot of people expect these 3, 4, and 5-star recruits to come in right away and produce big time numbers, but in reality that's rare to see. People were really criticizing him for his freshman year, and it was rightfully so. I'm just gonna be honest. For the 2019 through 20 season for Florida, which was his freshman season, he averaged 20 minutes per game, which is okay, but here's the thing, he wasn't playing more than that because they couldn't afford to even have him on the court. He only averaged 5 points per game, below 1 assist, and below 2 rebounds. And from the field it was bad. He only shot 27.5% from the 3-point line and 35% overall from the field. That's not efficient whatsoever, and you can't have a point guard out there that can't shoot. Technically you can, but if they can't shoot and score, they need to do other things like rack up assists, and the problem was he wasn't getting assists. I remember after his freshman season, I'm a big ACC basketball fan, and I was disappointed in him, and I'm not even a Florida fan. I expected him to have a great freshman season, and I thought he was going to be a one and done. After seeing what he did in his first year at college, I'm not going to lie, I thought he had almost a slim to none chance to even get to the NBA. That's how bad it was. Let me talk about that a little more. He didn't have a really bad freshman season, but it was bad for his standards. I hope you get what I'm trying to say. For a walk-on or 2 or 3-star recruit, he had good numbers, but this guy wasn't a walk-on or a 2-star recruit. He was highly recruited, so therefore you're expected to put up big numbers. And even if you're not putting up big numbers, you at least need to play good, and he wasn't even playing good. I don't know what happened in this second year. I don't know if he drank some of Michael Jordan's secret stuff, but he looked like a different player. I know there's some Florida fans watching this video. You understand exactly what I'm saying. He started every game he played in, averaged over 32 minutes per game, and like we stated, he was very efficient. Shot 46% from the field, shot over 40% from deep, and averaged over 16 points and roughly 4 assists and 4 rebounds. It was a complete 180 turnaround from the previous season. Even though he had really good numbers, that's not what was most impressive about what he was doing. The reason NBA scouts started to pay attention to him was because he was improving and getting better every single game. It was something you love to see in a basketball player. He got more and more confidence every night he went out there. Or, if they played in the day, every day he went out there. At the beginning of the season, the only knock on him was the fact that he wasn't taking over games and he wasn't scoring a ton of points. But in the last 10 games of the season, he turned it on. In his last 6 games, he averaged 21.2 points per game and had a 30-point game in the SEC tournament. That was a big game because there was a ton of NBA scouts at that tournament too. The reason I even mentioned the 6-game stretch of averaging over 20 points per game is because it was vital. By saying vital, I mean it was crucial to him rising in the draft. In the middle of the season, he was just now getting recognized on draft boards. They had him listed at 58 to 60. And before that 6-game stretch, I believe he was only as high as 30 or 32. But after that 6-game stretch, he went up to all the way to 20 in some mock drafts. And now there's even some mock drafts that have him going in the lottery at number 11. He had one of the quickest and fastest rises I've ever seen for a point guard in the draft. I wanted to share those stats with you just so you get some perspective as to why he climbed up so fast. With all that being said, let's talk about why he's so good and why, in my opinion, he's the best player no one's talking about. If you've been watching the channel for a while now, you would know that throughout the season we talked about Sharife Cooper a lot. Sharife is an outstanding basketball player and he's a great person too, and that's why I love him. But as much as I love Cooper and as much as I hate to say this, he is not a good shooter and he's not even an average shooter. That's one thing I'm really big on. If you can't shoot the basketball, I don't see you succeeding at the NBA right away. All throughout this draft so far leading up to it, everyone's saying Sharife is so good and he's going to go in the lottery, and I agree 100%. This may be a bold take and an unpopular opinion, but I like Trey Mann right now over Cooper. And here's why. Trey proved throughout this entire season that he can shoot the 3 ball. That is so important to me because it's much more than that. If you can shoot the 3 ball, it opens up every other aspect of your game. Here's the thing with Trey Mann too. He's not even a 3-point shooter. He's not known for that. He's a slasher and he takes mid-ranges. Every time I watched him play this season, the only thing I saw him pictured was an NBA point guard. He plays exactly like one and he is so, and I mean so fast off the dribble. Their first move and first step off the bounce, him and Sharife Cooper are identical. They're both great finishers, and maybe even Sharife's a better finisher at the moment. One thing that is very vital too is that Mann and Cooper both have a floater. That's more important for Sharife because he is an undersized point guard. Here's why Trey Mann is better than Cooper right now, and I would take him over him. I think we can all agree that Cooper and Trey Mann are identical and side by side on driving, floaters, and mid-ranges. Here's the big difference though. Cooper is only roughly 5'11", maybe 6 foot, and Trey Mann is 6'5". For those people that say size doesn't matter, you're wrong, it does. I give the edge to Trey Mann in that aspect, and also Trey is a way better shooter than Cooper at the moment. This could change in 2 to 3 years, but for right now, Trey's better. I don't think you guys quite understand how impressive it is that he shot 40% throughout the entire season as a point guard who wasn't even known for shooting. Some of the best shooters in this draft didn't even come close to shooting that. The bottom line is he's good at finishing, good at floaters, good at mid-ranges, good at the 3-point line, and he can pass, and he's 6'5". So why is nobody talking about this kid? This dude is a 3-level scorer and a 2K created player. I don't even know if I need to mention this or throw it in because I think everyone knows this, but he's also really athletic. He fits the modern day starting point guard role at the NBA right now. I feel like he's the biggest sleeper in the draft, and that's 100% true. I was trying to do a lot of digging and I watched a ton of film on him and I couldn't find a knock in his game. Actually, let me change that. The only knock I do have in his game is that I wish he would take over and shoot more. It looks so effortless and easy to him at the college level. He can control the tempo of a game, he can speed it up or slow it down, and he proved that. Normally point guards fall in the draft and don't get talked about because they can't shoot. But I'm trying to puzzle it and picture it all together because he can shoot. You can come back to this video and mark my words. He's going to be a for sure first rounder. He may not go in the lottery, but a for sure first round pick. I wouldn't even be surprised if he got drafted above Sharife. Now, let me make this clear. Is he on the level of Cade Cunningham, Jalen Green, and Jalen Suggs? Absolutely not. The gap between them three and Trey Mann is pretty big. Or not big, but slightly big. But those guys are all going to be top 8 or 7 picks, so we're not even talking about that. I'm saying that Trey could easily be a top 15 pick. After those big 3, and there's even some other guards that I listed, everybody's quick to talk about the Tennessee guards and the Baylor guards, but don't sleep on Trey Mann. One thing too, I think he gets lost in all the talk is because there's so many good point guard, shooting guard, and small forward prospects. You can't talk about them all, and I get it, but I think somebody's going to get a great player with this guy. Seems like a great and humble dude too, so I'm wishing him the best of luck, and keep your eyes open. Let me know in the comment section down below who your sleeper point guard is, or what you think about Trey Mann. But with all that being said, that's going to wrap up this video. Hope you guys enjoyed, hope you guys learned something, and hey, remember, we're going to be live streaming tonight, so make sure you come out. It's going to be a great time, and as always, let's be great. I'm out, y'all. Road to 100K. Peace.